Hello, everybody. Our required film this week that I'm going to introduce is 1977's very influential, very reflective Saturday Night Fever. This was a huge hit when it came out and made a star out of a future name we all know now, John Travolta, for his electrifying performance as Tony Manero. This film is a really good example of what we talked about in the PowerPoint, the type of mid-70s film that focuses on an individual, somebody trying to come to terms with himself and how to deal with the world that's changing around him. Tony lives in a Brooklyn neighborhood. He hasn't gone to college. He's post-high school. He discovers that he's really on a route to nowhere. He's working in a paint store, in a hardware area of a paint store, and he just hangs out with his friends. They're racist, they're homophobic, they're sexist, and they're kind of on a route to nowhere. But the only little shining silver lining for him is every weekend he goes to the discotheque and is the king of the dance floor. And he just kind of blows all his money there and then goes right back to the same thing. He kind of gets a mirror put up to his face when he meets a woman named Stephanie, who's going to be in a dance contest with her. She's got goals of going to college, moving to New York, kind of making something for herself. And he kind of sees this maybe in himself. And it's really a testament to Travolta's performance that we actually feel and empathize with Tony. Because Tony, as written, is homophobic, sexist, doesn't treat women right, isn't really the nicest guy. But we do see his plight that he wants to dig deep in himself and change. And since we see this, we can follow him along with the story. This is a very raw film. It's sort of remembered as a dance movie, and because he starred in Grease a year later, people think of this as a dance musical. It's got musical sequences, but it's a very rough, raw story with a lot of foul language. And keep in mind, it does have a number of disturbing scenes of sexual violence and abuse and suicide toward the end of the film. These scenes are actually integral to the screenplay and the film because they help as an arc to move Tony out of where he is in Brooklyn toward a new future. This came out in 1977, and it's also very influential because the Bee Gees' disco score was a huge success. The album was #1 for nearly a year. It spawned 5 hit singles, and this really took the underground movement of disco and propelled it right into the mainstream for all to enjoy. So here's 1977's Saturday Night Fever.